Good morning, everyone. I am Katie Grana, Program Manager with This Is My Brave, and I'm excited to have my friend Becca from Hope for the Day. Becca, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Sure.
Ooh. That wasn't happening before. Do we have an echo on live? Do you have headphones?
Yes, I definitely have headphones.
Okay, let's try that.
Give me one second.
Okay. Bear with us for some technical difficulties. Let's see, I will go ahead. There you are.
Okay.
Better.
Cool.
There's always something.
Okay. So I am Becca Milligan. I am the marketing and events director for Hope for the Day.
Awesome. Oh, sorry, I was just trying to pull up your link while I was waiting. Learning everything. Okay, so will you tell me a little bit about how you found Hope for the Day, how you started working for them, your story for Hope for the Day?
Yeah, so I actually have a little bit of an echo.
You do?
Yeah. So I apologize if I'm off, but
let me try something. Is this better for you?
I still have a little bit of an echo, but it's okay. I will just talk with one and we will be fine. I started with Hope for the Day about 5 years ago. I needed an internship for school. And I just happened to see a listing go up. I had recognized Hope for the Day from Warped Tour. I had seen the tent there. I had definitely stopped by the tent and talked to people. So that's hilarious because I probably talked to Christmas. And I love that. But I saw the listing go up and I needed that internship. So I applied for it. And it's funny because I actually heard back from the person once who was in charge of it. And then it had gone like a week and a half or so that I hadn't heard back. And I saw the address of the office and the signature, and I happened to be in that neighborhood one day and was just like, okay, I'm just going to stop by and see what they're doing there. So I just kind of strolled into the office and walked in, and there was seriously only 3 people. There was 2 people in the room back in the other side. And then one of my bosses at the time, who was the one interviewing, and he was just sitting there by himself, and he had said, oh, and he was kind of surprised when I walked in and I said, hey, I applied for this internship and I didn't hear back. I happen to be in the neighborhood. I just thought I would stop by. And he was like, oh, absolutely. I meant to get back to you. It's just only us. Like, I'm trying to build a team to start working on this stuff. And then our former CEO walked into the building, and we had a lot of like small coincidences. My brother grew up, and I'm convinced that they have met before in the past, even though they say that they haven't. Mm-hmm. They ran in similar circles. We are from the same hometown too. So I had a lot of, that was just, to me, I was like, okay, I'm going to stick around. Mm-hmm. And yeah, so I've been there ever since. They couldn't get rid of me. I finished my internship. And the cool thing is, while I was doing my internship, what I was working on actually was the fundraising and the business plan to open Sip of Hope. So I got to work on that with one of our people that was with us. His name was Ben, and someone else that was with us whose name was Apoorva. They were really great. I loved working with them and writing that business plan and like doing that stuff and working with the whole team. So I just started taking on more, and I was still in school, and then I graduated and I was still working full time, and I continued to be there and kept doing more and more and asking to take on more things. And Yeah, and that's kind of how I got to where I am today. I just kept trying to do more.
I love that. I didn't know that. So do you have ties? I mean, okay, we all have ties to mental health, but do you what was it about Hope for the Day that, I mean, aside from, it sounds like you had great opportunity, like professionally, and a great community to work with, but was there something specific about mental health that made you, that really, made it your mission?
Yeah. So, like I said, I had seen Hope for the Day at Warped Tour and stuff like that. So I knew what the basis was about. When I was a senior in high school, I actually lost a friend to suicide. He was basically my brother, and it was the first loss that I had too. I didn't have a grandparent or anything like that before that. So it was really, really hard for me. And I never felt like I dealt with that all the way, honestly, until I came up to Chicago, and it was separate at the time that I needed the internship and knew of the organization. I had always wanted to work nonprofit. But then once I got actually involved with the organization, I realized, and the story is up on our website for the Light Project, but I had this whole realization that I had tried to go see a therapist for a very long time when I was younger. And I just kept getting told that my emotions were close to the surface because I cry very easily. And it's actually just my anxiety, and that's how my body reacts. And a lot of the time I'm not even upset. I'm not in any way going that way, but I'm just overwhelmed, and my body's response is to cry. So I spent all this time trying to fix it, and I didn't ever have any success with that, and didn't recognize that it was anxiety until I started working with Hope for the Day. And I started learning more, and I went through the education, and then I saw the education being given, I mean, at this point, hundreds of times. And talking to people at events that's honestly one of my favorite things, and something that I miss the most is saying certain things and seeing it click in somebody's head, of them being like, oh, this is what I've been going through. This is what so-and-so has been going through. And they don't realize it. And then it's that first point of them wanting to go look into it more. And so Hope for the Day being that first point, and then me being able to, I keep using the term all the time, full circle, because there's so much in my work that I do every day that's just makes me realize I was right there, and now I'm the one that's getting to facilitate this. So it's very cool.
It is. And I've been with This Is My Brave since August of 2019. And first of all, I want to say thank you for sharing your story, because we're all about storytelling. And I mean, literally, it's so funny, because even I do this every day, and you telling your story, I'm like, there's so many components that are so similar to mine. My breaking point, or I guess the main finding myself point, was when I lost one of my best friends to suicide in July of 2018. And he was one of my mental health allies. I was diagnosed with PTSD, anxiety, and depression in 2011, after being robbed at gunpoint and dealing with another death of a friend. And I was kind of the same way. And when I started going to therapy, well, first of all, I did not believe that my body could be under so much stress that things would happen. That's my dog. And so I started going to therapy, and my therapist would say the same thing. And she was like, I think you've always had some anxiety in your system, and now it's just really bubbling up, because I was the same way. I'm still the same. I will cry at anything. If I feel like I've disappointed someone, if I feel like I've disappointed myself, but I express myself through crying. So when I lost Jason to suicide, I was like, okay, this all has to stop. I have to I can't go through this again. I can't lose another friend to suicide. And like, who am I supposed to talk to now about all my mental health stuff? Like, it was him. And so I think I found Sip of Hope before I even found This Is My Brave. And I reached out and I was like, hey, Sip of Hope, I'm in St. Louis. I want to bring this to St. Louis. You guys were neighbors, basically. So like, and they're like, hi. It might have been you. I don't know.
There's a good chance.
Right. Responding to me. Saying, you know, we're just coming up on our first year. We're really putting everything we can into like what we have in Chicago. And I was like, fine. But I love this. Like, I love that you have a mental health coffee shop. Like, I love coffee. Jason and I used to spend late nights drinking coffee and talking and everything. So it was all so meant to be. And then I found This Is My Brave, and he was also very involved in the performing arts. And I'm very convinced that that's what kept him alive as long as it did, because it gave him an outlet, and he was able to wear different masks and things to cover up what he was going through. And so then I basically did the same thing to This Is My Brave. Is I was like, hi, I want to bring a show to St. Louis. I was just on a mission. I was like, I want to bring a show to St. Louis. And they're like, okay. And then I went and saw a show in DeKalb, Illinois. And then like 6 months later, they announced that they were hiring and they wanted someone in the DC area. And I was like, hi, I need this job. Like, I want to do this. I want to work for you guys. And we made it work. And so I started working for them, and that's where we are now. So you kind of have to, and when you find your passion and things that are in line with what you professionally want to do and personally want to do, it's amazing how I never thought I could find this kind of gratification in work. So yeah, I feel you on the just pushing through and making things happen.
Absolutely. Yeah, when I was finished with my internship, I actually had a full-time job downtown, was working 9 to 5, was taking the train downtown every day. And it was very like that whole like picturesque thing, like going through the loop and everything else. And it was really like something that I've even heard some of my friends, that's still what they want to do, my friends from back home. But I realized once I was doing it for so long and I was going to that job, and as much as I loved that job and everything that the situation that I was in and the stuff that I was doing, I just still found myself more focusing on Hope for the Day. Yeah. And I found myself like, I was still leaving the office and going to a meeting or going to look at an event venue for a fundraiser or stuff like that. And I finally just, I ended up switching jobs. I started another 9 to 5. And I, at first was like, I'm going to love this job. It'll be a great opportunity. And then I realized how much of a toxic environment it really was. And I was like, okay, I'm done here and I'm not going to do this. And I know what I want to do. It's been being told to me this whole time that this is what I was supposed to be doing. So I finally just was like, okay, to the 2 leadership members at the time, I was like, hey, I want to be there. So I'm not going to apply for another job for this amount of time. And like, let's go. Mm-hmm. And it ended up some perfect things working out, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. Like, I wake up every day and know that I get to do what I'm passionate about and what I would be focusing about in my free time anyway. Yep. So I'm very lucky, that's for sure. Yeah. I feel the view on that.
Yes, I feel the exact same way. And it doesn't mean that we don't have stressors or bad days or
absolutely
anything, but
absolutely
right. But at the end of the day, I love being able to know that like what I'm doing is, and I'll have and what you were saying before about the conversations you have with people, that's how I feel in these conversations. But then at our live shows, it's such a beautiful moment at the end of the show when you're in the lobby and the cast members and audience members are mingling and crying together and like embracing each other pre-COVID and hopefully coming up soon.
it's really, really powerful. And you see things in yourself, you see things, people see things in themselves, and then they're like, oh, that's what my friend is going through and I haven't understood it, or it just gives you a different perspective on things. And I think that's so important, what I love about your organization so much as well. So you guys have also, I love to rep Hope for the Day. So I have my bracelet and my It's Okay to Not Be Okay sign back there.
Yes.
My picture with my friend that died by suicide, not the one in the white, the one in the red. And I'm also drinking my coffee this morning. So.
I am also drinking our coffee. It's up behind me as well. So
just had to make sure that everyone knows there's a store, and even if you're not in Chicago, you can order online and get all of their stuff, and it's awesome. So you're marketing. I love marketing. What are some things that you have going on now?
Yes. So I have to say our coolest project, we actually had planned this May to kind of focus on highlighting some of our partners and some other people who are doing great work in the mental health community. We took a pause on some of our stuff for this month altogether. But something that did end up continuing and turned into something so much bigger than I thought it was going to be is our craft beer project. So when I say that out loud, I know how it sounds, and it's definitely been a topic of many conversations that we are doing a project in the alcohol industry and mental health. Yeah. So the entire basis of this project is that Hope for the Day prides itself on starting the conversations in uncomfortable situations or any situations. Mm-hmm. So it's very taboo to like talk about mental health in the alcohol industry because we know that alcohol can be a depressant for some people. Mm-hmm. But there are also a lot of things that could be a depressant for some people if you don't know how your body reacts. So one of our partnerships people, Joel, he is fantastic. He is just a ball of energy and so much fun to work with. He is very heavy in the craft beer industry on his own personal time. We've done a couple one-off collaborations over the past couple of years that have been amazing. And he decided this year that he was going to just reach out to everyone. And basically, we started with a brewery and a couple other partners up in Milwaukee. Mm-hmm. Eagle Park Brewing created a base recipe. Okay. And it's an IPA. It's called Things We Don't Say IPA. It's named after our mental health education program. And it's literally just like our coffee. It's a point of conversation. Some people say that hey, let's go grab a cup of coffee when they want to meet up with somebody. Some people say, hey, let's go grab a beer. Mm-hmm. So we wanted to give people who work in the alcohol industry, and I should include that there are non-alcoholic breweries participating as well. Mm-hmm. But people in the alcohol industry deserve to talk about their mental health just as much as anybody else does.
Great.
So there are over, I believe we're at like over 160, something like that, breweries around the world, not just the US, which is the crazy part. We just had a Chinese brewery sign on. A brewery in China signed on the other day that was just like mind-blowing for all of us. We were like, that is so cool. There's one in Belgium, there's one in Brazil, and then there are just almost every state in the US. So mm-hmm. if there is not one close to you, there is probably someone who is selling them canned that another brewery did. Mm-hmm. And it is a fundraising effort for us. Mm-hmm. But there are also, we understand that we're coming out of COVID too. So that's also, we're not worried about the money.
Right.
The main part of it was starting the conversation. It's mm-hmm. that entry point. So there are people who are donating money to other organizations. There are people who aren't donating money at all, and that it does not matter to us. The coolest part about this is seeing 160 some different labels with mental health resources on them around the world.
So cool.
They have a list of a lot of different resources on the back, and then they also have the QR code to our resource compass on them.
Oh, perfect.
And little background on that. I feel like we talked about this website, but if you go to hopefortheday.org/find-help, you go to our resource compass, you can type in your zip code, and it will pull up resources for so many things. Whether you're looking for childcare, mental health care, job training, transportation. I found my dentist on there the other day. You can filter it by your income, whether you're looking for sliding scale, whether you need free. It doesn't matter what it is. It's making all of those resources as accessible as possible. And them being on beer cans or bags of coffee all over the world is like so cool to me. So
it's amazing. Are you gonna like get a big frame? I mean, I would be framing, like do a big frame of all of the different labels. Like
I am trying to get my hands on as many of them as possible. I know that Joel has probably 15 of them now. He has friends out picking them all over the place.
If you need anything from St. Louis, I do plan on going to every brewery that's participating. I know you guys are close to St. Louis. It's not like I'm like the Brazil one that can offer something really far away, but I can collect for you.
Yes, for sure. I want them. I want to add them to actually, those are 3 other beer collaborations that Joel did.
Love that.
That have resources on the cans. So those were the starter to this one.
It's so cool. I remember the day one time we all met as a team, and this is my Brave and Hope for the Day. And it had just come out on social media, and I saw it like right before our meeting. I was like, what is this? And we got on the meeting, and I was like, bold move, you guys, bold move, but like necessary move. Like I totally understand not wanting to mix alcohol and mental health and things like that, but you're not encouraging drinking.
Nope.
You're saying, here's a beer that you're already going to order because you're already here.
Yep.
So here's some talking points and some resources. And
absolutely,
I just adore it because not only, coming out of the pandemic, like, and exactly what you said about meeting up for coffee or meeting up for a drink, you're not going for the, diagnosed mental illness. It's the people that are holding things in, aren't saying things, aren't realizing maybe they're dealing with things. And maybe this will give them some information while they're sitting and having a beer. And I just adore it. I love the name, everything, the red cans, everything about it. So I really am on a mission so I need to ask a question though. How long does this last? Because I need to know how much time I have.
We don't know.
Oh, okay.
So
cool.
The cool thing about this is we definitely did a push to have people do it for Mental Health Month. We started working on this. I would say Joel was working on it beginning of the year at least. But some people even giving a little bit of notice, they said, we want to be a part of this so bad, but we can't swing it right now.
Sure.
And so we decided that they know what's best for them, the same way that the recipe, we're letting all the breweries change it however they want. You know what's best for your audience, for your business, for you guys' plan. So do it whenever you want to do it. Let us know, and we will make sure that you get wristbands and resource cards so that you can provide your audience the resources as well so that they can take them with them. But we didn't set a timeline on it on purpose because we want people to be able to do it whenever they want.
Good. I like that because I know one of our breweries here, Perennial, that's participating. My one of my best friend's husband is one of the brewers there. And so they just launched it, I think 2 Fridays ago, or maybe last Friday.
Yeah.
So I need to go. I can't wait to go there. But I was just like, I hope this stays for a while. But I love hearing their side of it too, the back end side of it, that they're like, we heard about this. We knew we had to participate in something that's so important. And they're all behind it as well. So it's cool hearing all sides of why people are participating in this.
Yeah, that's the cool thing that's going out on that social media account, the Craft Beer for Mental Health account right now, is that we asked all the breweries who are participating why.
I loved it.
And we've always been like and I think that's why our organizations work so well together, but it's about the story. That's what makes other people want to talk. So we asked all the breweries why, in our terms, why they gave a shit.
I love it.
So because everybody has a different reason, whether it's a personal connection or it's somebody that they knew or one of their brewers that they know about that they haven't brought it up yet or something like that. And we actually, one of the ones that stands out to me the most, there's a brewery in Minnesota, and they were one of the first ones to send the story back, and they created this video. The brewer, I believe he's the head brewer, his name is Mike, and I was having such a hard day. We had a really lot of stuff happen over the weekend within the organization and stuff like that. I came back on Monday and I was like, this day is just going to be really hard.
Yeah.
And Joel sent that video over and I just started bawling. And I was like, this is exactly why.
Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't matter. None of that other stuff matters. This is why we do it.
Yep.
So it was that's the best. I love seeing all the cans and seeing all my friends send me pictures of the cans where they are, but reading the stories that have been going up from all these breweries and giving them the time to tell why they got involved. It's not just about beer. So I'm a very, like I said, full circle person.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, I love it. I feel like this is just, obviously this is just the beginning of another movement that you guys are creating. There will be a ripple effect from it for a long time, I bet. So it's so exciting to see it launch and watch it grow so quickly. And then, other people are going to want to get in on it. And it's just, it's so cool. I'm so excited for you. I am. It's just amazing. So do you guys have anything else? Okay. Let me take that back. I know you have a million things going on. You have education all the time, free education for people. You have the coffee shop. You have, you're back to attending events, right? Sometimes some in person, like tabling and things.
Yeah. So, to start off then, we'll talk about the coffee. So, Sip of Hope, a little bit of background. Sip of Hope opened 3 years ago. In 2018, we opened on May 1st for Mental Health Month. And basically what started that whole process was that a lot of mental health clinics in Chicago were getting shut down. There are like a pretty good amount that got shut down within the same period of time. And so that was a big flag point from there. And then we also just started talking about how much we wanted to create a space where there was no stigma of like saying that you needed help.
Yeah.
So we played with a lot of ideas, and then we were looking at buildings and stuff like that. And at the time we had been partnered with Dark Matter Coffee. And that was the original Sip of Hope, also sitting up there in the back, the black bag. But they were very, very helpful to getting us onto our feet with the coffee stuff. And that was always the thing, is that coffee starts the conversation. People say, let's meet up for a cup of coffee. Even if you don't drink coffee and you're getting a tea or you're just going to hang out, it's the comforting coffee shop setting.
Right.
And And so we fundraised, and then when we opened the shop, one of my favorite parts of it is that we brought in a lot of community artists. So if you walk into the shop and you are familiar or even not with Chicago artists, there, like the pieces on the wall, everyone was done by somebody different, and they have an impact in the community and stuff like that. So it's just such a welcoming atmosphere. And then all of the baristas are trained in mental health first aid too.
Cool.
So both on the Hope for the Day and the Sip of Hope side, the basis is peervention. So we want to meet people where they are, and not like, we're not going to go try to hand out resources and try to have that conversation with people outside of a therapist's office or outside of a hospital or something like that. Nobody is going there to talk about their mental health. Well, yes, they are, but not people who aren't ready to.
Yes. I'm following.
So bringing it into spaces that people are already comfortable being themselves. And that's the entire concert thing too, is being present at concerts, because that's where people are expressing themselves. They're connecting with other people. And that's where you make people feel comfortable to talk about it. So when we opened Sip of Hope, it was the world's first coffee shop that 100% of the proceeds funds the education that we do at Hope for the Day. And then about 2.5 years later, just back in October, we started roasting our own coffee. And it gave us a lot more flexibility on the way that the bags were, the resources on the bags, being able to do new things. And one of the other things that we're really excited to eventually be able to get into is the point, is to take our education to the communities that we're sourcing our coffee from.
Oh,
so,
yes.
Yeah. So we don't have like the fair trade certification.
Mine's from Mexico. So yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we don't have like the fair trade certification on our coffee. Because we would rather form relationships direct with the people that we're getting it from. We want to form a relationship with the farms. We want to be able to go back, or go in general, and like bring our education, learn more about where the coffee is coming from. And we want to make sure that there's, we've done a lot of background research into like making sure it's sustainable all the way through the process. So that's something that's really important to us. And something once we get through all of COVID and stuff like that, that was the goal overall, and just kick down the field a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I get a lot of joy out of the work on both sides. Sip of Hope right now is kind of a lot more of a like fun and creative side of things right now, because I'm learning so much about coffee now that we're switching coffees out and getting new coffees all the time. And it's also a lot more fun for our audience because people drink coffee constantly. So the idea, or tea, but the idea of something that you're already spending money on, that you maybe need to get your day started, gives you a second to take a breath and take some time for yourself and make coffee the way that you want to make coffee, and maybe not check your emails while you're doing it. And having that just consistent thing that's also supporting a cause. And that's the really fun thing to talk about. And then talking about being at events here and there, we're starting to get back into things. There are a couple members of our team that are fully vaccinated and ready to get in front of people. So we've been popping up at the farmers market, and that's been the really cool thing, is seeing that the connection between that we're doing the coffee, it's something to fund our education, but it's also something that people use every day. So it's just been a really cool, and it's I've been spending a little bit more time on that than the Hope for the Day side of things recently, and it's been very fun and challenging.
Yeah. Well, and it's nice to be able to like make a switch, like,
Mm-hmm.
and have things. That's kind of how we are with our programming. Like we have our all of our virtual content, our community shows, college shows, teen shows. So we can go back and forth, and yeah, you kind of you can take a new perspective on things and get a break from something.
Absolutely.
And
it helps me go back to them because
Yeah.
you can bounce the ideas and tie them together and stuff.
Exactly. And I want you to know that I have gifted Hope for the Day coffee and gear to multiple people. Last summer, I sent some of the coffee and one of the mugs to a first responder friend of mine, and he immediately burst into tears when he got it. And it was just, and he's in mental health too, and so it's just so powerful. Like getting this mug that says it's okay to not be okay. Wait, did I say it right? It's okay not to be okay.
It's okay.
I'm right every time I say it. And then, yeah, like a conversation starter coffee. Like, so it's so awesome. And I order it for myself. I've ordered it for gifts. I adore it. And like I said earlier, I mean, I am addicted to coffee, and I'm iced coffee. So don't be confused and think that I'm drinking water. I'm an iced coffee girl. We
don't judge how people make their coffee in this house.
But it's just so important. And like for me on a personal level, it goes back to so many things that are so important to me. And I can only imagine that Jason and I would have made our way to Sip of Hope and sat outside and had coffee and had these conversations. So I love it. I love everything that you guys do. I'm so excited that we are going to, continue working together moving forward. I feel like the possibilities are endless. Once COVID is done, I can't wait to come have a show in Chicago and just anything that we can do. So
absolutely. I'm so excited.
Yeah. So is there anything else that that you wanted to mention or that we haven't mentioned yet?
I don't think so right now.
Okay, cool. Well, I love talking to you. I love working with you guys.
I know.
So
I love working with you guys too. It was that first call that we had that we all got to talk was it like set my whole week, because I was like, that was it. That was such a connection, and that I just am really excited for the possibilities in the future.
Yes. We were all texting each other afterwards and we were like, we found our people. Like we love our people. This is great. So yeah, everyone stay tuned for things to come with Hope for the Day and This Is My Brave. And then we have one more coffee conversation next Monday with our executive director, Jennifer Marshall, and Matt Fuchs. What's his title right now?
Matt Fuchs. He is our senior director of finance, and he is our interim executive director right now.
No, that's how you said it. Okay, I have a friend that with the last name that spells it the same way, and his name is Fuchs, so I've always gone with that in my head.
It's okay. I feel like I'm saying it incorrectly, but I know that I'm not, so it throws me off every time.
Matt, I'm sorry. We're friends. I'm sorry.
He probably gets it a lot. It's okay.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Becca. I hope you have a great day, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you so much.
All right. Bye.
Bye.